Brahmane Namaha. Today I am going to discuss the topic wisdom in action. Wisdom in action. After the prayer. Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Krishna is eager to grant Arjuna knowledge of the highest spiritual truths or even a rare mystical vision. But Arjuna has been asking for Krishna to simply get him out of his present difficulties. Of course, these difficulties are not mirror. He is caught in a family tragedy that has developed into a vicious conflict. If he cannot extricate himself, he knows that he will have to take part in a catastrophic battle that no one wants. So, when Krishna begins to tell Arjuna about the secret teachings, he will be privileged to hear because he is Krishna's favorite devotee and friend. It hardly registers in Arjuna's consciousness. His reply is confused. How could he have taught any secret wisdom to the sages of old? He asks. At this point, Krishna reminds Arjuna again of the process of rebirth. They have both been reborn many times, but naturally, Arjuna does not remember his past lives because he has no access to this kind of knowledge. Krishna remembers his former birth, but he is no ordinary being. He reveals that he has chosen to take on human birth many times for the welfare of the world. Whenever dharma, the law of life's unity, declines, he wraps himself in his maya and takes on a finite form. Thus, he returns age after age. Vishnu, the preserving or sustaining person of the Hindu Trinity, is usually looked upon as an incarnation of this aspect of God. As the Lord Krishna explains, he dwells in every being, but he is manifested with special power in his incarnations or avatars. Avatara literally means descent. Vishnu is believed to descend and incarnate himself on earth from age to age to re-establish divine law. Without such intervention, the entire created universe would go into decline. The natural course of creation is to go through cycles of regeneration and decay. But Lord Vishnu, Krishna, has compassion for all the suffering of the world and comes himself to protect the good and destroy evil. Thus, Lord Vishnu has a special relationship with all beings. He personifies the aspect of God who so loves the world that he comes into it to re-establish the purity and happiness of the golden age. Lord Krishna here reveals a little of his hidden divine nature. He tells Arjuna that mystical union with him is possible through devotion, by which one can enter the state of divine love in which one sees God in everywhere or in every creature. Lord Krishna also takes on the role of a creator. It is he who has patterned the world along the lines of guna and karma. This mystic aspect of Krishna's being dominates the Gita. In the Mahabharata, Krishna is a princeless ally who is wise and daring in his support of his friend Arjuna. But the author of the Gita is not concerned with this Krishna. He turns his attention to the mystery of Krishna's divine nature as an aspect of Vishnu. In this sense, Krishna, there is the inner self in all beings. His name comes from the Sanskrit root Krisha, is the attractive one. The Lord of laughing attraction. By another etymology, the word Krishna means the dark one. The author of the Gita sees revealed in him the ultimate Godhead, the Supreme Being. Godhead, the Supreme Being, but this reality is often veiled in then Krishna is seen as an ordinary human being or as an exceptionally gifted man, but not as God. In this chapter, turns the key mystical topics back to Arjuna's immediate problem. Krishna begins to talk about action and work and with things that should be done and should not be done. It is essential. He reminds Arjuna to act wisely, even with attachment or detachment. The wise never act with selfishness or selfish attachment to the fruit of their labor. They give their best in fortune and misfortune alike. Such a people act in freedom. The next section deals with the various kinds of yojana, worship or offering that may be performed by spiritual aspirants of differing temperaments. Hindu rituals often involve making an offering to the gods by pouring an oblation into the sacred fire. Here, the image is the same. Whatever is offered is symbolically thrown into a consuming fire that carries the offering to God. The offering may be as obvious as worldly gods or subtle as knowledge or meditation. In any case, it requires a measure of self sacrifice. Yajna is a basic action necessary to life, and those who do not perform some kind of selfless service find no home in this world or the next. Krishna ends by exhorting Arjuna to cut through the doubts that still stifle him. This is the first but not the last mention that Krishna makes of Arjuna's doubting heart. There has been no indication so far that Arjuna has taken in and accepted Krishna's words. But even though Arjuna continues to drag his feet, Krishna does not get abandon him. wisdom in action. Krishna. 1. I told this eternal secret to Vivaswat. Vivaswat taught Manu and Manu taught Ikshvaku. Number 2. Thus, Arjuna, eminent sages, received knowledge of yoga in a continuous tradition, but through the time, the practice of yoga was lost in the world. The secret of these teachings is profound. I have explained them to you. Today I become. You are my friend. I am devotee of yours. Arjuna. You were born much after Vivaswat, delivered by long ago. Why do you say that you taught this yoga in the beginning? Krishna said, you and I have passed through many births of Arjuna. You have forgotten, but I remember them all. My true being is unborn and created creatures such as one. Arjuna is united with the same. Delivered from selfish attachments, fear and anger, fulfilled with me, surrendering themselves to me, purified in the fire of my being, many of those who consider per day. Next. Those describing success in their actions worship the gods, those mantras or actions worship the gods. The world of mortally becomes darkness. It may be our desire, but it not put into practical. Actions do not cringe to me to become and not get appointed or attached to the results. Those who understand this and practice it live in freedom. Even delivered from the selfish attachment, fear and anger, filled with me, surrendering themselves to me, purified in the fire of my being, many have reached the state of unity in me. Next, as they approach me, so I receive them. All paths, Arjuna, lead to me. Those desiring success in their actions of worship the gods through action in the world of mortals, their desires are quickly fulfilled. Next, the distinctions of caste, guna, and karma have come from me. Actions do not cling to me because I am not attached to their results. Those who know me as their own divine self break the belief that they are body and are not reborn as separate creatures, such as one Arjuna is united with me. Knowing this truth, aspirants desiring liberation in ancient times engaged in action. Those who understand this and practice it live in freedom. You too can do the same, pursuing an active life in the manner of those ancient sages. Now, what is action and what is inaction? This question has confused the greatest sages. I will give you the secret of action with which you can free yourself from bondage. The true nature of action is difficult to grasp. You must understand what is action and what is inaction and what kind of action should be avoided. The wise see that there is action in the midst of inaction, in the midst of action. Their consciousness is unified and every act is done with complete awareness. Next, the awakened sages call a person wise when all his understanding or undertakings are free from anxiety about results. All his selfish desires have been consumed in the fire of knowledge. The wise, even are ever satisfied, have abandoned all external supports. Their security is unaffected by the results of their possession with mind and body, firmly controlled by the self. They do not incur the sin by performance of physical action. They live in freedom, who have gone beyond the dualities of life. Competing with no one, they are alike in success and failure and content with whatever comes to them. Though they are free, without selfish attachments, their minds are fixed in knowledge. They perform all work in the spirit of service and their karma is dissolved. The process of offering is Brahman, that which is offered is Brahman. Brahman offers the sacrifice in the fire of Brahman. He is about attained those who see Brahman in every action. Some aspirants offer material sacrifices to the gods. Others offer selfless services as sacrificing their life for Balarama or Brahman. Some renounce all enjoyment of the senses, sacrificing them in the force of sense restraint. Others partake of sense objects but offer them in service through the fire of the news or fire of the senses also. Some offer a workings of the senses and the vital self-control kindled in the path of knowledge. Next, some offer wealth, others offer sense, represent and sufferings. Some take vows and offer knowledge and study. Of the scriptures, and some make the offerings of meditation. Some offer the forces of activity, and regulating their inhalation and exhalation, and thus gain control over these forces. Others offer the forces of vitality through requesting senses. All these understand the meaning of sincere service, and will be cleansed of their impurities. True sustenance is in serving, and through it a man or woman reduces the control, Brahman. But those who are away from your Brahman, what can you do at that time? How can they be at home in any world to come? These offerings are born of work and the long path of Buddhism understanding. Arjuna, for the good of all work, is spiritual wisdom. The offering of wisdom is better than any other material offerings. Arjuna, for the growth of application, is as the spiritual wisdom. While meditation is central as Ishwaran Prasad, Hare Rama ways, Hare Rama, we can also feed our times when of the occasion, these including reinforcing that ability to the film, that to the focus, and being more and more one pointed in our attention. Choosing the type and element of stimuli to which nervous system is subjected. Changing the inputs can change the raw of material occur, that is processed. Inputs can change the raw material task. Number one. Embracing simplicity, Rakshasanga Prema and Bhaga Hattukuntaru, that should not be done. It is a little bit more so the mind is less like to be heard. Becoming less rigid in everyday likes and dislikes, even things like shuffling our else make us more probable. Focusing on interest and holding, becoming less eye focused by engaging in more selfless service, offering service without any expectations of personal benefits, loosens the hold of the ego. Opening to change is about letting go of the ego. Expectation, fear, change is inevitable and will continue to arrive on our doorstep. We should not get feared. And the teachings embodied in the Gita possesses eternal value and are universal in their applicability. This is only the philosophical work that enjoys the widest currency. Its message continues to be as such and inspiring today. Your father, it was when Lord Krishna delivered it to Arjuna. The Gita is to bottomless sea, containing endless layers of meaning. Just as a driver diving deep into the secrets of the good Gita, the seeker goes on discoveries. Moreover, a new piles of extraordinary gems of ideas. A careful inquiry on the subsequent subject reveals that the primary aim of the Gita is to lead the Jiva merged in the ocean of worldly existence. Due to the ignorance coming down from the eternity, the realization of God. With this object in view, Pugalu, that Gita prescribed objects everything while scrupulously performing his worldly duties. The, the wonderful art of applying the spiritual truth in practical life has been revealed in the Gita, which prescribes the two parts for God realization to suit nature and qualification of the fire. Arjuna has overcome all desires and attachment to life. He has obtained the State Bank of India, knowing each. He desires to learn the only one thing that matters. Jnana and Satya, seeing that he has come out successful in the qualifying text and more himself to fit to receive honesty. Teachers hide it. That is also how the message of the Gita has come to the process of eternal and lasting value. Life is a journey with many possible roads that lead to success and failures. Well, fly you or one of these days, rarely some people individual becomes blind. Ante kaadu. Not only that, most of us would rather endure paper cuts and lemon juice. Here we used to cut the fruits and distribute to the temple. Even when we really needs to change big and small is not an offered everyday occurrence, yet we are of the startled by its arrival and disappointed by its reminder of implementation. The Bhagavad Gita is a gross-up Hindu text written around 300 BC. Suggests that we may be lacking out a change from the shell of vantage point. Change means with our story. It remembers us from the people touch. When we seek the district wordless from Acharya and the feelings it evokes, we are more likely to maintain manipulative. Do people are egocentric, undisturbed, and remove that discomfort. Takes all that is coming in from the senses, coming, ignores anything else. Ego is greater enemy than all other organs and should not hands to come to possess eternal and lasting value. Passive is the life is a journey with many possible roads that lead to successful and failure both. Totally, if you 1,000 lorries attach each other and gets failed like that, it lead to success and also failure. And I salute you. Most of us would rather endure paper with the familiar, and even we really to change big and small is an implied occurrence that we are often startled by its arrival and disappointed by its reminder of imprisonment. Gita, Bhagavad Gita, the sacred Hindu with everything that coming in that Kavalidasa's ego. then the mind truth influence to hold it together. The friction between our desire for the predictable and multipliability of our life markers against change, which the Gita says, inherent in all things, the key to be broadened in our view by becoming less self-workers and less by our ego. A change ruled sympathy cannot work out. That shift occurs when we complete deepen our because that view offers a greater range of choices. The spiritual practice propagated by the form ego to Purusha from the field of action to the observer of the field by Yogananda. The most essential is meditation. Meditation strengthens ability to more inherent word rather than phantom the helpless subject of daily exchange. The Gupta emphasizes the extreme importance of meditation. These desires can be compared with an itch in the body. The itch is troublesome and creates an irresistible urge to cigarettes. Scratching does not solve the problem. For a 2 moments there is a relief and then I-Tech returns with a guarantee force. Instituted, if someone can tolerate the itch for some time, it begins losing to sun. It brings slowly, the moan is the lapse of the throw up, myriad devices. So, last but not least, as long as you are supporter of the service of your beloved father, it remains that such a person is should be remained to do bhakti devotion.